Welcome back to the Cave of Wonders, Dreamwalkers. I am your Sith Lord Callous. I am where Star Wars lives, and this is another Rancorous review, the Mandalorian edition. Today I want to talk about the season finale, Episode 8, Redemption. So let's jump into the story. Redemption begins where the reckoning leaves off. Kuil, the Ugnaught, has been killed, and the pursuing scout troopers have recovered the child on their way back to town. They stop for some reason on the outskirts to radio in and request permission to return the child to Moff Gideon. They are told they can enter the town, but that Moff Gideon is not in the best of moods and is murdering their own men in cold blood, just to make a statement. So the troopers stand by. Now, we know this was just a plot device so that IG-11 can catch up, but it worked. The two troopers engage in normal conversation, and I thought this scene was on the mark. Granted, it was probably more appropriate for a parody or a bloopers reel, but I enjoyed it. I thought it normalized the men behind the masks and lightened the mood a bit, coming off of us just seeing Kuil get killed. It went overboard in two spots for me, though, when they punched the child and literally missed every shot from the piece of debris to IG-11. But it served its purpose. When IG-11 arrives, he wreaks havoc on the two troopers, retrieves the child, and then heads into town. The Mando, Cara Dune, and Greef Karga are still trapped inside the Imperial outpost, with Moff Gideon, his squad of death troopers, and a small battalion of stormtroopers preventing their escape. Mando and his team try to escape into the sewers to no avail. Recognizing their desperation, Moff Gideon gives a grandiose speech identifying each of the heroes by name, without even seeing who they are. Mando he names as Din Djarin. Cara Dune he identifies as former Republic shock trooper from Alderaan. But most interesting to me was when he identifies Greef Karga as a disgraced magistrate. I wonder if he's speaking to his time as the guild leader, or if perhaps Greef Karga held another position in the Empire as a justice of peace. But I guess I'll have to wait to find out more. Gideon gives the team until nightfall to surrender or face destruction by way of the E-Web cannon. As the team weighs their options, we see the entire flashback from when Mando was a child and his home was attacked by the Separatist droid army. We finally see his rescuers, a clan of Mandalorians. They are too late to save Din's parents, but they scoop him up after destroying the super battle droid attempting to disintegrate him, and they make their escape. Mando tries once again to hail Kuil on the comlink, but instead IG-11 responds, on his way into town with the child. He shoots his way to the center of the garrison, and the firefight begins. This was such a great scene. The music, the visuals, the stakes all added to the tension. My only problem with this scene was with the inconsistency with the damage of the Death Troopers' weapons. In the last episode, they caused havoc blasting into the window, destroying nearly everything and everyone inside. But here, their shots barely bounced off the furniture. I did love seeing Cara and how much of a badass she is, and her loyalty to Mando made this one of my favorite scenes of the episode. Din takes a nearly fatal shot to the head from Moff Gideon, and the group retreats back into the building. So the Moff calls in a flame trooper to burn them out. Cara tries to tend to the Mando's wounds, while IG-11 slices away into the sewer tunnels. The child uses the Force to stop the flame trooper, but Mando's injury is too severe for him to travel. He would rather die than remove his helmet, so he opts for a warrior's death. As Cara, Greef, and the child escape into the tunnels, IG-11 stays behind for support. Equipped with Bacta spray, and because he is not a sentient being, Din Djarin allows IG-11 to remove his helmet and treat his wounds. And that is when his perception of the droid changes. Back on his feet, IG-11 and Mando catch up with the group in the tunnels. As they try to find the way out, they happen upon a pile of Mando armor and the armorsmith who stayed behind to salvage the Beskar. After Mando explains everything that has happened, she grants him the signet of the Mudhorn and names him and the child a clan of 2. He is to train the child or return him to the Jedi. This is the way. The armorsmith refuses to leave with Mando as they head off to the lava flats. We then get to see her hand out a pretty thorough ass whipping to a squad of troopers armed with only her forging tools. When they reach the lava river, they find a boat with a very tall, very odd-looking R2 unit as the ferry droid. But as they get closer to the end of the tunnel, Mando realizes that a platoon of stormtroopers are guarding the exit, preparing to ambush them. IG-11 makes the ultimate sacrifice in one of the saddest scenes of the season. He self-destructs, and the team is able to escape the lava river onto the flats. That is until Moff Gideon attacks from his TIE fighter. He's an expert pilot, so Mando uses his jetpack to attack his fighter at close range. He attaches 2 detonators to the wing and blows them off out of the sky. Cara and Greef choose to stay on Navarro now that the Imperial threat is gone, and Mando takes the child to find his own kind, not his species, but the Jedi. Then we see a few Jawas trying to scavenge parts from Moff Gideon's crashed TIE fighter, when suddenly the dark saber bursts through the side of the cockpit, and as Gideon cuts his way out, that's where this story ends. A fantastic ending to a great first season. The redemption has a few flaws, but all in all, I really enjoyed this episode. Cara Dune has become one of my favorite characters next to Mando, and the introduction of the Darksaber for the first time in live action is frickin' slick. Now, I do wonder if this means that Moff Gideon is, or was, Mandalore, or perhaps he just stole the relic when the Imperials raided Mandalore. The last time we see the Darksaber is in Rebels, when Sabine gives it to bo-katan. I'm looking forward to finding out just how Moff Gideon acquired it from her. Hopefully they'll answer this question in more of Season 2. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you enjoy this episode and this first season? I certainly did. So don't forget to subscribe for more on The Mandalorian when Season 2 begins. And listen, I do what I love. I hope you love what I do. This has been a Rancorous review. Until next time.